GAQA Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, magical, wonderful Tuesday. I know I am. Today has just ran smooth as silk, thank God, because I could not have had this day run like bad and live to tell the tale. So the girls got off to school on time, the bus picked them up on time, it was great, they ate breakfast, they were behaving. I got all pretty-fied and ready for my interview, went to my interview, they got me in early, it went fantastically. Apparently they loved me, or so they said. I met with the district office today in kind of like the first level of the hiring process, and they are going to write up a formal recommendation and send my resume along with my application and everything to the next phase, which is the private agency that will actually officially hire me if they so choose to do so. And I'm really excited about that. So now I have to impatiently wait for that email or phone call to know when my second interview is going to be, and I'm just, I can't wait. Like, I hate waiting. I have the patience of, like, a match. Like, it's so thin. It's ridiculous. But, it's worse when I'm excited about something or I am really looking forward to something. So this wait is going to be horrid. But it's all part of the process, and I'm really excited that I even get a chance to go to the next, the next phase of the hiring process. So fingers crossed it continues to go well. I can't wait to keep you guys updated and let you know how well it's going. And hopefully by the end of all of this, I will have a job. I would be really ticked. But I know what happens, that sometimes you go through all the process and then it doesn't work out for whatever reason. But I'm positive and hopeful that everything is going to work out as planned. But we are not here to talk about job interviews and getting kids off to school. We are here for GAQA Tuesday, where I answer all of your Ghost Adventures related questions that you guys ask me either through private message or all up on the Facebook page. And we have a fun little list that we are going to get started with. So here we go, yo. Our first question is, I seen a ghost on the Magnolia Lane Plantation episode, but it was never mentioned. How do I get that information to the GAC? My first thought would be to go to the ghostadventurescrew.com website, which is like their official GAC webpage. I know at one point they had contact information for like their publicists and their management crew and everybody, and how you could submit information like that. There was like a specific link on how to submit information or missed evidence. And they would get back to you in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if that's still there. That was a few years back when I noticed that. But that would be my first suggestion, is to go to their webpage and see if you can find any information there. You can always hit the guys up on Twitter, and they may or may not get back to you. They're insanely flipping busy. And then you can always try to go to the Travel Channel as well and see if there's any links through their like show page within the Travel Channel that can help you. But my first suggestion would be to go to the Ghost Adventures Crew website and find out any information there. Click on all the little links on the bottom below, and there might be some information on how to contact them. And they would be able to let you know whether or not they know of that information, or whether or not it was a piece of information that has come to them before and they've since debunked it, or they're aware of it. But that would be my first suggestion, is to go to their webpage and hit them up there. Okay? Thanks. Bye! Short, sweet, and to the point. Moving on. This week's episode, Zach was truly affected by something. How does all of that work? Oppression, we have talked about for the last couple of weeks now, off and on. We talked about it on the episode of Aftershocks. We talked about it in What Should I Do Wednesday. And now we get to talk about it in GAQA Tuesday, because this week we got to experience it firsthand when we watched Zach kind of get overtaken by something in the padded room of the Edinburgh Manor. Something got a hold of Zach. It was either the Joker or some other spirit. It doesn't necessarily have to be dark in nature for oppression to happen. It's just basically a spirit trying to make contact with you and trying to gain the energy needed to manifest in some way, shape, or form. And sometimes, unfortunately, we are the vessels that they use. And Zach was the vessel this week. He changed before our eyes. He was not himself. He was really agitated. He was really kind of pissy. He was kind of talking to himself almost, just kind of, he was talking to what he felt, and he was talking to the spirits, you know, don't you come inside of me, you stay out of my head, get away from me, don't surround me. It was just really, really, really kind of sad to see him act that way. He began to kind of pound on the windows like he was kind of stuck and couldn't get out. It was almost like he wasn't himself, like he was the spirit, or the spirit had kind of taken Zach over, and Zach was manifesting how the spirit felt through his own actions. And sadly, that happens. It's kind of like a side effect of paranormal investigation. You are opening yourself up to becoming a vessel for spirits to manifest within. And Zach, being an empath, is kind of an easy target for that, especially if he's got his guard down and he's not really prepared for that, although Zach always, I think, is prepared for that, but I think Zach in turn always wants it to kind of happen too. He may not always like it when it happens, but he knows it kind of comes with the territory and gets a little bit excited when it happens and then kind of pays for it later. But we've seen Zach kind of have to leave the area and go to Nerve Center and kind of decompress for a moment before going back in, and that's all part of the oppression process. They like to get in your brain, they like to kind of mess with your emotions a little bit and mess with your head, and that's exactly what they did this week. So oppression is basically an overtaking, a basic overtaking by a spirit in some way, shape, or form, and they can do it over time or they can do it rapidly. And in this case, it kind of just hit Zach all at once, and he was greatly affected by some spirit, either the Joker or another spirit at the manor, and he kind of had to remove himself from that in order to take care of it. So it does happen. It's kind of just part of the game, and you just kind of have to roll with it when it does, and take the necessary precautions as needed to kind of protect yourself as much as possible, because it can get kind of dangerous. Our next question is, do you think that storms have effects on lockdowns? Yes. As we've seen this week, they were having severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings and watches and tornadoes touching down all around them. I mean, it is the Midwest. It does happen, especially March through kind of August is kind of tornado season. And they kind of got to experience that full force. And I truly believe that storms do affect lockdowns, do affect activity. I mean, you are charging the air with massive amounts of electricity from lightning and thunder and just the energy of the storms. And I think that rain and just water and electricity kind of all flow together and work together to create an environment that is supercharged and gives spirits plenty of energy to be able to manifest and make contact. And obviously it worked, because this episode was chocked full of activity. The guys were affected physically, mentally, emotionally, and they got great evidence. And so yes, hands down, I do believe that storms do charge the atmosphere. They do affect activity, and it kind of is the perfect setting. You always hear of like the dark and stormy night. I think that there's a little more to that. I think that there is something there, and this episode proved that with the rain and the storms and the energy and the surges that were happening. Their equipment was being affected, and I think it just kind of supercharged the environment and made the spirits a lot more able to manifest, because they had the energy not only from the guys' equipment, but they had the energy from just the environment. And so it was really neat to be able to see that, because I don't think they've ever had an episode where they've been that charged. Like, it's been raining and stuff before, or there's been thunderstorms leading up to the situation, but just being able to be in a thunderstorm in the moment during an investigation for sure did something to that environment and made it an electrical playground for the spirits to manifest and have a field day with the guys in. Our final question is, do you think that Sympathy Said the Shark will come out with full release since it got picked up for the Portland Film Festival? I think that there is a great chance that it will be slated for some sort of a national release. I don't know if it'll necessarily be like on a theater basis, but I think that select cities for sure will get it. But as far as a national release, I think it'll depend on how well it does at the film festival, and also I think that it will just depend on whether or not that is something that they want to do, that they want to release it nationally. I think it'll all depend on how well it does at Film Fest, and then how the creators and things, how they all feel about slating it for national release. I think a lot goes into that, because when you do that, you're talking movie premieres and red carpet events and publicity and all of this stuff. And I think that a lot goes into that, and I don't know if they want to be able to do that, or if they just want to release it on the smaller platform. You're putting it on demand, putting it on Netflix, putting it on DVD for sale, which I'm almost positive they will do. But as far as slated for national theatrical release, I don't know if that's the route that they're going to take. It would be awesome if they did, because I really want to see this movie. But I think that there's going to be other platforms that are going to be easily accessible for people to be able to see it. Like I said, they could throw it on demand, they could throw it on Netflix, they could throw it on Hulu, they could put it on, I'm sure it will go on DVD for sale. So there's no doubt in my mind about that. So I don't know, it's kind of like one of those unknown things. I think that they're just right now they're basking kind of in the glory of being at Portland Film Festival to begin with, and just being able to say that they made it there and it was picked up and it's doing well, and they're just kind of riding that wave right now, and what comes of that is to be determined. And so I hope it's slated for theatrical release. I think it'd be really awesome to go ahead and go nationwide and put it in every theater possible and let anybody and everybody see it, because I think that it would do well. But I'm not too overly concerned about never being able to see it, because I know that in some way, shape, or form it's going to be released to the public for us to all see. So that is all I have for GAQA Tuesday. I will be back tomorrow for What Should I Do Wednesday, where I answer all of your general paranormal related questions. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, have a great, wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Much love and happiness. Bye, guys.